Mr. Speaker, the speeches from my honourable friends from North East Derbyshire and Truro and Falmouth were in the finest traditions of the House, and the speech from the Leader of the Opposition was in the finest tradition of the tergiversating Leader of the Opposition. First he was opposed to no deal, now he seems to be opposed to any deal. First he was in favour of delivering Brexit, now he wants a second referendum. First he wanted an election, actually he wanted an election for quite a long time. Now he'd much rather not. He resembles a Janus, a push-me-pull-you facing both directions at once and yet unable to decide for either. His policy on cake is neither having it nor eating it. And frankly, I fear for his political health, because we can all see the Soviet era expulsions that are taking place in his circle, as one by one his lieutenants are purged, as Lenin purged the associates of poor old Trotsky. And there is Lenin, Mr. Speaker, the veteran fabricator of GLC budgets,
pointing to John McDonnell there, who of course was a senior GLC councillor.
On the Labour Party, the contrast becomes ever starker. We're putting up wages, contrary to what he just said, we're putting up wages with the biggest expansion of the living wage ever seen. They would put up taxes, he would put up taxes. We will control immigration with a points-based system. He wants to, and of course, let me anticipate the point that my honourable friend is going to make, and we will look after the interests of the 3.4 million. They want to abandon immigration controls altogether, to judge by what he has just said. We back our armed services. He sides with their enemies historically. He sides with their enemies, and he has said he would like to disband them. We want to strengthen, and we will strengthen our United Kingdom. He would break it up. Mr. Speaker, I've drawn several important points of distinction between this government and the party led by the Leader of the Opposition. But for our present purposes, perhaps the most immediate is that he wants to dither and delay, whereas we want to get on and deliver Brexit on October the 31st. And I cannot in all conscience believe that is the right way forward for this country. And Mr. Speaker, the right honourable gentleman recently said that he was daunted by the prospect that he might actually become Prime Minister. Well, I have to say that he is not alone in that fear. So is most of the opposition, to judge by their actions, most of the House of Commons, and indeed most of the country. And I can give him this reassurance, this consolation, that I intend to do everything I can to prevent that from happening. I hope very much that in spite of some of our differences, he will support at least some of the measures in the gracious speech. Because at the heart of this speech is an ambitious programme to unite our country with energy and with optimism, but also with the basic common sense of one nation conservatism. Contrary to some of the gloomier things that we heard just now, we have unemployment at the lowest level since 1974. We have investment, inward investment at record highs. We have 700,000 fewer children in workless households than there were in 2010. And we are leading the world in so many sectors of the 21st century, business and technology. And it is because of that economic success, that free market success, and I can see the Shadow Chancellor recoil at the notion of a free market success, like a Transylvanian in the sunlight. That is how we will look after those who look after us and keep us safe. That is how we will spend another £2.2 billion on the armed services, to get to the point the honourable gentleman raises. And yes, as I say, we will bring forward legislation to protect our serving men and women. Of course, I should be very clear. This government understands that no one can escape justice for a crime that they have committed. But we also understand that there should be no unfair prosecution when no new evidence has been produced. yes, in the same spirit, we will protect our brave police who run towards danger to keep us safe by putting the police covenant into law and by giving them the political support that they need to do their job. And even if that means difficult and intrusive procedures like stop and search, because those procedures save lives. And as we back our police and insist on serious sentencing for serious crimes, and I think it was the Labour Party that instituted automatic early release,